welcome to Broken Entertainment. So, a lot of people are going on, you're seeing news that Batgirl has been canceled, and you're seeing increasingly breathless articles, and you're going to see videos about this as well. People saying HBO Max has lost 6 movies. HBO Max might be doomed because they're moving away from this format. And I really want to get into this because I think, as ever, people are responding a little too quickly with not enough information. You know, let's start from the beginning. Batgirl's been canceled, so here's the Variety article. Batgirl, the feature film adaptation of the DC Comics character, has been killed at Warner Brothers. Variety has confirmed it will not premiere on any platform at the studio, neither theatrically nor on HBO Max. Production, starring Leslie Grace as Barbara Gordon, and directed by Bad Boys for Life and Miss Marvel filmmakers Adil El Arbi and Bilal Falal. If I mess those names up, I apologize. Was greenlit in 2021 as part of a company-wide effort at Warner Brothers to create feature films specifically for HBO Max. But the new corporate regime at Warner Brothers Discovery has pivoted the company's priorities back to theatrical release features, leaving Batgirl without a proper home. So why are they doing that? It's pretty clear, I think, if you look at the returns on movies since this whole quote-unquote lockdown thing happened. Initially, there were some struggles to get people back into theaters, but I mean, look at Spider-Man No Way Home, over $1 billion. Look at Top Gun Maverick is making over $1 billion. It's still in theaters. The Minions movie, over $100,000. Over $100 million in its first weekend. People are clearly back into the movie theater. And it no longer makes sense to say we're going to release these at the same time in theaters and HBO Max, or we're just going to put things on HBO Max and not in theaters, because you've got all this money being made at theaters, and you put on HBO Max, you're not making that kind of money. Now, initially, part of that was to lure people to HBO Max. Look at the stuff we have. Now look at the stuff that we have all the time. But that HBO Max, by the records that I have seen, is doing fairly well. They don't really need to push that anymore, but they do need to make money. The company is deeply in debt. So along comes Batgirl, designed to be released essentially on TV. It's a made-for-TV movie. That's why the costume doesn't look great. You know, it's a $70 or $90 million production, whereas most of these DC movies are $100+ million, $200 million. It just doesn't have that kind of funding. And Batgirl's not the kind of character that has a huge draw anyway. She's more of a side character that you would put, at least in my mind, that you would put in a larger movie. But, you know, it'd be like doing a Robin movie. It doesn't really work. People want to see Batman. Nothing wrong with Batgirl, but people want to see Batman. And then if you team Batman with Batgirl, now you've got something. Also on the chopping block was Scoob Holiday Haunt, a follow-up to the 2020 film Scoob, has been shelved by the studio. Footage for the animated adaptation of the Scooby-Doo series was showcased in a sizzle reel for HBO Max back in December of 2021. Sources indicate the production had cost Warner Brothers $40 million. So both of these movies were done. Or basically done. Studio insiders insist the decision to axe Batgirl was not driven by the quality of the film or the commitment of the filmmakers, but by the desire for the studio's slate of DC features to be at blockbuster scale. The initial $75 million production budget for the project, which finished principal photography earlier this year and was in post-production, reached $90 million, due in part to COVID-related delays and protocols, which Hollywood just seems to be in love with and never gets rid of. So now people are going, oh, well, David Zaslav is out to destroy woke entertainment, or he's out to save us from bad script writing. I suspect that he sees movies and is able to know this isn't going to make any money. I don't think he's an expert at making movies. I do think he's an expert at making money. And he knows this is going to make me money. This isn't going to make me money. Now, just because Batgirl's been canceled doesn't mean you're not going to see a Batgirl movie. It's entirely possible that a few years down the road, they'll say, let's do a Batgirl movie for theaters. And you'll get a much higher production budget and all that stuff. But I think we need to be careful in saying, just like when I said when the news broke that Twitter was being bought by Elon Musk, I said, now wait a minute, that doesn't mean he's going to save Twitter. We don't know. David Zaslav might save DC Entertainment. He might not. He might get rid of all the agenda-driven stuff. He might not. I think his decision is movie by movie, and he's saying, is this going to make money? Yes or no? Is it going to make money? Okay, how much is it going to make? And then he's saying, okay, yes, or okay, get rid of it. I think that's what we're looking at. So we have to be careful about jumping on this bandwagon. David Zaslav is going to save entertainment. I wouldn't bet on it. And I would be very, very cautious of jumping down that path. Because I don't think he cares about ideology either direction. I think if he thought a bunch of ideologically driven movies would make him a whole bunch of money, he'd make them in a heartbeat. But we all know that Batgirl, released on HBO Max, wasn't going to make studio one dime. And Scoob 2, I don't know how popular Scoob 1 was. So it's hard to say. I suspect, again, it was probably middle of the road, and middle of the road right now, that's not what they want. They want blockbuster. They want billion-dollar movies, $900 million movies, $800 million movies. And they just released League of Super Pets, which was not doing very well either. But it had already been, it was scheduled for release. It was coming out. But it was in theaters, not on HBO Max. So we got to be careful. We got to back up and say, now, let's see where this goes. Now, as far as HBO Max goes, you go over to Yahoo, and they talk about within the past few weeks, 6 Warner Brothers movies have been removed from HBO Max. Moonshot, a sci-fi rom-com, Superintelligence, a remake of The Witches, An American Pickle, Charm City Kings. All 6 of the films were labeled as Max Originals. Removals were noted by users on Reddit in discussion on the Warner Brothers decision to nix plans to release Batgirl. That's why you're seeing this breathless coverage, right, of, oh my gosh, HBO Max might be canceled. Maybe, I kind of doubt it. It's doing very well, but I think you're seeing David Zaslav wants movies in movie theaters, and he wants television shows on television. He wants those movies to be blockbuster, huge entertainment. He wants Batman to make him $1 billion. He wants Superman to make him $1 billion. He wants the Justice League to make him $1 billion. I think anything short of those numbers to him doesn't cut it. And you're seeing that in the cancellation of Wonder Twins, Batgirl, what's the name of Batwoman on the CW, because these are either actively damaging the brand or they're just not good enough for what he's wanting. So I think you're going to see a significant shift. Now, the question in my mind is what happens to The Flash. I think what happens to The Flash tells you where DC is going. Because The Flash is supposed to reboot the DC universe. And I suspect, because of the mixed bag that DC has been, because of the bad view that a lot of people have of DC movies right now, David Zaslav is probably pretty keen on resetting the universe. Now, there's different directions that can go, but he probably wants a clean slate. Now, this is speculation on my part, but we don't have a lot to work with. We're going to find out what's going to happen with The Flash. It's got a lot of negative press right now. It's been delayed for the millionth time. Can it even make money? With The Flash, I think if The Flash gets canceled, which I think we'll find out in the coming days or weeks, if The Flash gets canceled, I think all bets are off. I think you're looking at probably a clean slate approach of, we're not doing the Snyder Cuts, we're not doing the Flash reboot, we're not doing anything connected to the originals, and you just do, give me a Batman movie, I want $1 billion. Give me a Superman movie, I want $1 billion. I think that's the approach you'd be looking at. If The Flash is not canceled, it's hard to say what happens next. There's a lot still up in the air, and running to say HBO Max is doomed, DC is saved, woke entertainment's being driven out of Warner Brothers, I'd pump the brakes on all of that. We just don't know yet where this is going. I can speculate, but I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon. I'm not going to say, David Zaslav is going to run in and he's going to save everything. Because you don't know. This guy wants to make money. The question is, what does he think is going to make him money? Think you're going to see a big shift of movies from Warner Brothers are going to be put in theaters. And they're going to be made to be theater movies. And I don't think HBO Max is going away. I could be wrong. Removing movies from it, it's sort of a big deal, but not really. Because it's also got television shows. And what you're probably going to see is give me some HBO Max original television shows. So we're going to learn a lot about the future of DC in both comic form and movie form coming up very soon. I'm just advising caution. Don't assume Zaslav is going to save everything. And don't assume HBO Max is doomed because it lost some movies nobody's ever heard of. And the Harry Potter movies are leaving, I think. But they've been there for a while. I suspect they want to refresh content a little bit. I don't think it's going away. We'll find out. But don't make any conclusions yet without caveats. Don't make any assumptions. We don't know where this is going. We've seen David Zaslav cut a lot of stuff that's not very good, and it can make you go, "Oh yeah, they're gonna get rid. They're on a crusade to get rid of this agenda-driven stuff," but that might not be the case. It's just a money situation. Every time you jump to those conclusions, "Oh, this is gonna be saved." Look, how many times have we been burned? Star Wars is saved. Luke Skywalker came back in The Mandalorian. Oops. Wait. Keep your eyes open and wait. We're going to learn answers pretty soon, I think. As far as Batgirl being canceled is concerned, from my opinion, I think it was the right decision. It's got a tiny budget, and it's got a side character that, let's be real, most people don't care about. And that side character is played by a person who doesn't match the description of the character, because they want to mark off checkboxes. Those are the wrong reasons to make those decisions. If you wanted a quote-unquote person of color, or I guess a hero of color, there's plenty of choices within the DC universe. Jon Stewart comes to mind, just off the top of my head. To go that route, I think this is a good decision. I don't know about Scoob. I think if it were my decision, I would cancel The Flash. But The Flash is the pivot point. The Flash will tell us where things are going pretty quickly. And if The Flash gets canceled, anything's up in the air. But my suspicion would be a move in a direction of just not even acknowledging the past, just making a movie, which might be the best decision. Don't reboot the universe. Don't acknowledge the universe. Just, here's a Batman movie. Here's a Superman movie. Here's a Wonder Woman movie. And then you can tie those together. And now you've gone in another direction. Hopefully these movies are very successful and people go, hey, I'm on board. And they don't think about those other movies that didn't do very well anymore, because who cares? And I suspect also we're going to learn more about Henry Cavill at some point in the coming weeks and months as well. I think they should bring him back, but we'll find out. So, just my 2 cents. Pump the brakes a little bit. Don't assume your savior is here. This is a money guy. He's making money decisions. He's not ideologically driven either direction. So we'll see. We'll wait and see. Let me know where you think this is going in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, ring the bell for notifications, and I will see you next time.